New Country Biggie 100.5. We are live with our very special guest today, Mr. Matt Welsch, the owner, proprietor of the Vagabond Kitchen in downtown Wheeling. And you may have seen him on the Food Network recently on Guy's Grocery Games, which, spoiler alert, he won. $20,000 in his pocket, and he's here in the studio with us. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Well, congratulations, first of all.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
I
on
appreciate
Guy's
it.
Grocery Games on the Food Network. I got a million questions, but first, can we get the sappy stuff out of the way first? I want to say something.
Okay.
You're a West Virginia native.
That's right.
I'm a West Virginia native.
Nice.
I love it. Nothing warms my heart than to see West Virginia guys on national TV, on a national stage, making good for the great state of West Virginia. And I feel like you were an excellent ambassador for the state on TV. So I just want to say thank you.
Can the audience hear this fist bump?
Yeah. Boom.
Holy cow.
Boom.
That was the biggest thing going out there, is I really wanted to represent our state, the Ohio Valley, Wheeling, well. I wanted to give people a different impression of us than many folks have nationwide.
Right.
So I really felt that I would call it a burden, but it more lent me strength than anything else.
It was a responsibility, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a huge responsibility to represent us well. And I've heard from a lot of folks that they think I did, and that means a lot to me.
I thought you did great.
That means more than anything.
Because, it's frustrating to see. I mean, obviously there are stereotypes about West Virginia. There's only so much you can do about that. But it's weird when you see like somebody from West Virginia get up on a national stage and they embarrass themselves.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it's another step back,
Right.
And you were great. You were just you were just West Virginia. Yeah. Yes. Love it.
One of my favorite parts of the night was when they put the picture of me and Calvin up and it said West Coast versus West Virginia.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how cool is that?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you won.
Yeah.
It's even more awesome.
It was very awesome.
All right, so take me back a second. How did this whole thing start? How did you get contacted by the Food Network to do the show?
I was out running errands one day after the lunch rush, and I came back in, and one of my servers said, Food Network called, and I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever.
Wow.
Sometimes you never know, and I was like, okay, cool, fine. I've talked to producers before. I've talked to producers since. You never know what might develop. A Vagabond Chef reality show is not out of the question at some point.
What?
So who knows? I've got a good story, and that's important to me, and that's part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So who knows? We'll see what develops. But I got this message that they had called. I called them back. They kind of told me the deal. They found me on Instagram, and they thought I made good looking food. So. We went through the process of, kind of an interviewing process, some Skype calls and things of that nature. And then it all happened very, very quickly. It was like on a Thursday, can you be here on Monday?
That's amazing. So they flew you out to L.A.?
Yeah, flew out and back in 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
what
3 days
rush.
total. And then, right back into the restaurant, covering the dish pick, because we were down a dishwasher that night. And
back to reality,
keeps
right?
me humble. When you're elbow deep in suds, you don't get a big head.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Guy's Grocery Games, you work closely, obviously, with Guy Fieri. He's right there on the show with three other chefs from, I know the one guy was from California.
Right.
I'm not sure about the other two.
Yeah, James was from Atlanta, and Mac is from Manhattan.
Yeah. Doing a game show like that, it had to have been fun, right?
It was fun,
but was it stressful?
Yes, it was also stressful. And the thing was I just put my head down and treated it like any other gig, like
you're there to cook.
Yeah, and we have a time limit, and it's just like when you're doing a catering or you're in a dinner rush and like something went wrong, and you're like, okay, well, we still have to serve exemplary food to our customers no matter what, so just go.
Figure it out.
At one point in the show, spoiler alert, Chef Mark Murphy comes next to me and starts cooking a carbonara, and I just like, okay, whatever. I'm not even looking over there because I don't want to cut myself. I don't want to get burned. I want to make sure this food turns out right. So it was, you kind of tunnel vision and just get real focused.
Yeah, you get this super professional, famous chef next to you, start cooking. I'd be like, what? Wait a second. Come on. But it was very neat. It's a fun show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really cool experience. Everyone was super professional. Guy was fantastic. Just a really amazing experience from the beginning to the end.
I was going to ask you about Guy. What's he like?
Super cool and down to earth.
Yep.
I've gone on record before saying I wasn't a super huge fan of his persona.
Right.
And I wasn't sure that I was going to like him. And then I got there and met him, and he was so cool, and he was very in.
Yep.
The whole team resourced us. They wanted us to do well, and they wanted us to provide a good show for ourselves and for everyone else.
Right.
And Guy was very, very resourceful. He talked to me about his visits to Wheeling, and I gave him a little bit of, I'm not sure how much we can cuss on here, and I'm a chef, so I cuss a lot.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So I gave him a lot of for coming into Wheeling and not coming to the restaurant.
Right.
And that's the next big step. We're trying to get on Triple D and get them to come in.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I think that would help the area out a lot. Hopefully he could visit us and a few other local restaurants that are fantastic.
Well, I kind of remember he was in town a year or two ago, and I seem to remember like he was somewhere in Eastern Ohio and dropped into Moundsville.
Yeah.
And because I saw he had done pictures at the penitentiary.
Yeah,
he was with his
pen.
kid or something. And everybody that met him, I talked to a couple of guys that were there that day, said, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Like he's got that wacky persona with the hair and the clothes and everything. And he's just like, that's his thing.
Right.
But down to earth, super nice guy. It's good to hear those things.
Yeah. And that's always nice to meet someone famous and that they're a real human being. And also, dude's invested in helping out small businesses. He helps small businesses all across the country. California had a lot of trouble this past year with the forest fires, and he did a lot of work to help out the communities and the firefighters that were working on that. So did a complete 180 on the dude.
Do you know about a thing called a Fieri Con?
Fieri Con. Explain it to me. What is it?
It's like Comic-Con, but it's in Manhattan, and it's Guy Fieri, and everybody dresses up as Guy Fieri.
Instead of comic books, it's just Guy Fieri. It's just get people in Guy Fieri wigs and flame shirts.
Yeah. Are you going to go next year?
That depends on what it is and what's going on with the restaurant.
I think you should make an appearance, though.
I think so,
I think you should look at going to Fieri Con because I'm getting tickets. I'm going to go. I need that one-way ticket to Flavor Town. I got to be there.
Right,
yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I would be doing Guy and you guys a disservice to not give you a little coaching here because Guy hates it when you say his name wrong. It's one of his big things. Okay.
Am I saying it wrong?
Yeah.
It's
it's
Fietti,
tough.
right?
It's Fietti. Fietti.
Like there's like a T where there's not a T.
It's not an R.
It's Fietti,
it's a rolled R, but it's Fietti.
Fietti. Yeah, see, I feel like I knew
it's
that.
Super tricky. So I didn't say his last name the whole time we were there because I was so scared.
Just to be sure.
So scared of saying it wrong. One of the contestants, and I won't say which one, but one of the contestants came out and said, "Oh, Guy Fieri," and I was standing next to a producer, and he put his head in his hands like, "Oh my God, he said his name wrong." So it's Guy Fietti.
Fietti.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right. Lesson learned. I'm embarrassed. I'll be honest. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, I totally was too. No, I had to look on the internet for how do you pronounce Guy Fieri's
you don't want to mess it
name.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude's writing you a meal ticket. You got to say his name right.
So the first thing that they wanted you to do was the comfort food.
Right.
Mac and cheese. Was that like the first thing you thought?
Well, I just went to our menu at the restaurant.
Right.
And one of the things that we do at the restaurant that I don't even get to eat it all that often, but I know our adult mac and cheese is super good, and I thought that was the first thing that I thought of.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well,
mac and cheese like the ultimate comfort food.
Yeah.
You said mac and cheese. I'm like, yes, mac and cheese is the right answer.
Well, and then I found out that Mac was doing mac and
right.
cheese.
There was
the
girl did the mac and cheese too. Were you like freaking out a little bit about that?
I started to, and then I just ignored it and kept going.
Right. And then you did the pork and the vegetables,
right.
The smashed potatoes.
Right.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Again, like it's not so. There's so much pressure and there's not much time. So I didn't really debate a whole lot. I was like, okay, I'm going to do that.
The first thing you thought, you just kind of went with.
But the first thing I thought of for Elevated Hometown Classic was DeCarlo's Pizza.
I thought that too. I thought like, what's like the most inherently Wheeling thing? And it's DeCarlo's Pizza.
And then I thought of a pepperoni roll. Yeah. And there's no time to bake.
Right. No.
And I was like, no, I mean, meat and potatoes. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was it happened very quickly. It was like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I was locked into that, it was like I'm running around looking for the ingredients while I'm thinking like strategy, like how do I elevate this? How do I make this a little nicer? And again, like we were resourced. All of us were resourced all the time about stuff like that because we don't know the store. So Guy would say, "Oh, that's on this aisle," or they would point stuff out to us and suggest different things, and it was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So $20,000 you got, you're going to put that into the restaurant? What
That's
are you doing
right.
with
Yeah,
it?
I'm going to do a little something special for my family. I don't take a paycheck from work right now. We're into almost our 4th year, but being downtown is really tough,
Yeah.
So I actually live in an old RV in my parents' side yard, and they let me stay there and feed me a lot more than they probably should. So I want to do something nice for them. And I want to do something nice for my staff because I couldn't do any of this without them holding the restaurant down.
That's amazing.
And then everything else will go back into the restaurant.
That's fantastic.
So
how's the restaurant doing? You guys hanging out in downtown?
It's been tough. Downtown is tough still.
Yeah.
It's definitely improved in the past few years. Our location has improved. What we're offering has improved.
Right.
We've made strides and bounds, but this is my first place, and I was a chef, and I'm learning to be a business owner.
Right.
So it's a school of hard knocks for business, and it's still tough. There's kind of a ghost town at night, So I'm really happy about people living in downtown.
Mm-hmm.
That will help a lot. We need to get more businesses down there. Obviously, the health plan coming in is a great step forward, but they're gone at the end of the day.
Right.
So we're really still a destination, and a lot of people don't know we're there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about getting the word out, and this will definitely help with that.
Well, downtown's changed a lot. I think we can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
I was working in downtown 10 years ago, and it was vastly different then than it is now. It's just grown and grown and grown. So I don't see how there's nothing but good things in the future for downtown.
Well, and I feel like a lot of people haven't been downtown in 10 years. So
Right.
they
No,
have
you're right.
this image of what it is, and they hear about the buildings coming down that just haven't been upkept, and they have to come down. So people get this idea of what things are, and in reality, it's actually much, much better. Downtown's coming around. We have a lot of work to do as a restaurant and as a downtown community, but it is totally coming around.
Yeah. Well, I can't say enough about your restaurant. I've been there a couple of times.
Thank you.
I was there with my wife one time, and then I was there by myself one time, which a lot of people think is kind of weird, but I love to go to restaurants by myself. I just kind of go and chill.
Yeah.
The Cubano sandwich.
Thank you.
I love Cubans.
Nice.
Love them. Best in the world at the Vagabond. And I had, I never forget this, a dessert menu. It was like a peanut butter and jelly cheesecake.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I wasn't even going to get dessert. I was waiting on to go to an event at the Capitol. My wife was in, so she was already up there. I was eating by myself, and I'm like looking at I'm like, oh, peanut butter and jelly, like I gotta have that.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we work with a local baker who does a few different kinds of cheesecake for us.
Yeah.
We try to keep it local as much as we possibly can. That's important.
Which is fantastic. I think that's great.
Well, that gives back to the community. Local economy is so important.
Right.
Especially in Appalachia and West Virginia and the Ohio Valley. We've always been the kind of people that we help out our neighbors first.
Yeah.
And
that's important.
Yeah.
That's extremely important. That's great.
That's what could turn things around down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're doing something for yourself with the money, because when you were, when at the end of the episode, when you were talking about, the money, I was like, do something for yourself, Matt.
Take a vacation.
Go on vacation, do something. So I'm glad that,
Go see a movie at least.
I do really want to go see a movie.
There you go.
Right?
Go see a movie.
I know. No, but I have to comment on the Mark Murphy thing, because when he jumped in, I thought, what an attention hog. Look at this guy. And I like Mark Murphy. I mean, he's a good guy, obviously. It was a nice little, part of the show. But I was looking at you whenever he was there, and you were, there could have been an elephant next to you, and you were in the zone, and it was just awesome.
In the zone, total pro.
Look at him go. He doesn't care. Right. He doesn't care about the carbonara or the Fieri. So that was awesome. And no, it was just really cool to watch. It was just an awesome episode, and
I will ask one more question about the show. There at the end, when it's you and the other guy, and it's just down to the wire, and they're doing their final judging. What's going through your head? Like, did you think you had a shot? Did you think you had it in the bag, or?
At that point, I preload stress. So that I don't experience the stress as much in the middle. And at that point, there was a huge amount of relief just that I had survived. I got through it, and I felt like I had represented us well. Like I said earlier, that was the biggest thing to me. I want to represent who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm from well. And at that point, I was kind of ready to go either way. But I saw the looks on some of the judges' faces. Chef Irvine cut into my pork chop, and he looked over at Guy. And Guy looked back over at him, and my heart's in my throat, and I'm like, oh my God, is it raw? Because I've never used this equipment before. I've never worked with this product directly before.
Right.
Thickness and everything, all that stuff matters so much. And they both broke into smiles, and Guy said, nothing brings a smile to Chef Irvine's heart faster than a perfectly cooked pork chop. And I was like, oh my God, I think I got it.
Oh, man. That's awesome. All right, so if you haven't seen the episode of Guy's Grocery Games with Matt, what was the title of the episode?
It's Budget Wars. It's episode 1613.
Yeah, I found it on online on Sling TV. I don't know if it's on the website, but I think Comcast has it if you have Comcast.
It's on Amazon, Hulu, iTunes,
there you go.
On Demand.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's so good. And Matt, you've done just a fantastic job, both as a chef and a representative for the state of West Virginia.
Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming up and doing the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
it was a lot of fun.
Everybody go check out the Vagabond restaurant. It's really, 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 really good. All right.
Yep. Follow us on social media, guys. That's how it happened.
All right. Hope to see you again soon, Matt.
Thank you very much, Nick.